Bend It Like Beckham is a pretty classic story.
It takes place in London, England, and it follows this young brown Sikh woman.
She is a soccer player. She's not allowed to really play soccer.
The movie sort of follows that conflict of her sort of choosing between whether it's these two different worlds, but also her two passions, one her family and then the other one her love for soccer.
I don't think I asked my friends at school if they'd seen it because I just assumed they would never watch it because it was like, oh, that's like a movie for brown people.
I grew up with a bunch of guys that, honestly, I might not have told them I watched it. So that was the kind of friend circle I grew up with, very sports-based. Not feeling the female lead, a little disappointed in those guys. It's about sports, I know. I
hated soccer growing up, but to see another girl talk about growing up in an Indian home, it was almost too hard to even put into words. I think at that age, it was sort of subconscious, but it was like, there's someone else out there who kind of just gets it.
I remember having such a visceral reaction to it. I think it was the first time I ever saw Punjabi Sikh women represented in film.
I didn't even realize what I was watching until the end of the movie where I could feel how much it impacted me, and it was actually very motivating. It was one of those films you watch and you feel really inspired by the end of it.
Hearing the sound of the dole and like all of those things of being like a catalyst to follow your dreams and to move. I think that warrior like kind of energy and being a Punjabi, being a Sikh, all of that kind of stuff, I think that really stood out to me in the film too and really inspired me.
She's got tremendous potential.
I think we know better our daughter's potential.
Definitely the respect your elders and listen to what they wanted. So I think that's what I found relatable to her. Our families are very different. My family's Catholic and they put me into sports. So I played a lot of soccer actually growing up. I would say the biggest difference between our two experiences was really around that family support and being able to play. The other difference was that I just wasn't as good at soccer.
I'm really good. What did I do wrong in my past life?
I think a lot of South Asians can relate to that fear of telling their parents or sharing something with their families that they would not understand and probably would disapprove.
I thought the relationship between Jess and her parents in the movie was incredible. They started strict with her, and I think she won them over, and in the process, they kind of, I think they had like a little influence on the culture, you know? Seeing that character by the end, all the parents were like, you know what? Yeah, okay, cool. You wanna play soccer? Do it. No dating still.
Well, I definitely had a crush on the soccer coach too. Like 100%. Kind of wish I was like an athletic kid at the time because I was like, oh, maybe some like cute older guy will have a crush on me too because I can play soccer. So the one thing I'd love to see on screen more is the multi-generation family dynamic, how different generations have to interact and the levels of obligation and duty.
I don't know if it's specific stories or just the same stories that everyone else gets. What I really liked about Bend It Like Beckham though was that there was some raising awareness about traditions that people that watched the movie might not have seen. Maybe they watched it because they like Beckham or they like soccer or they just like, you know, kind of like teen comedies, and then to be able to learn something from it, I think is an important thing.
And I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think it's like no matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, at the end of the day, if you don't advocate for yourself, no one's gonna do it for you.
It only further solidified in me that I don't want to ever waver and change for anyone, and it's okay to be both. And I don't have to be Indian or Western, and you know, they both work together. They're both part of my identity.